This video is all about higher consciousness. Specifically, in this video, I'm going to give you some very concrete and specific action steps, places to go, videos, books, downloadable programs, trainings, people to work with, to help you accelerate your journey into higher consciousness. My name is Brent Phillips. I am the founder and creator of the Awakening Dynamic System of Energy Healing and Higher Consciousness. And this is video number 9 in our series on consciousness. And so, in the last 8 videos, I've led you on a journey through all the stages of human consciousness. We've showed you how they work, the common traps and challenges, as well as how to address them and work through all of it with as much grace and ease as we can. This video is going to be a little different. This video is going to be mainly about specific things where you might look to go, things that I have found very useful, that a lot of my friends, clients, students have found useful, to give you some next steps on the journey. And so there's just a couple things I want to emphasize first, then I'll give you some very practical stuff. The first is I'm going to list all these things down in the description with links as much as I can. Now, I don't know when in the future you're watching this. Some of them might have broken. In that case, go to Google, but I'll do my best to put all these links down below in the description, or Google it. So what do you need to know? First, remember, no matter where you are on your journey of consciousness, you are perfect exactly as you are. You're in the right place. Remember, the journey of consciousness parallels the physical development of the body. There's nothing wrong with being a baby, or being 2 years old, or 7 years old. That's great. It just means you're young. Doesn't mean you're bad or worthless. Just means you're different than a teenager, a young adult, a middle-aged person, an elderly person. It takes people of all ages to make our society work, and consciousness is the same. So here's my first tip for you on your journey into higher consciousness. The more okay you can be with exactly where you're at right now in your life, your body, your finances, your job, your relationships, your mindset, the easier it is to move forward. So I would encourage you, fall in love with every moment of your life, including the grief and pain. That's tougher. That's a higher bar to jump. If you're new to this stuff, don't aim at that out of the gate. But over time, we also must integrate the darkness, what I call the shadow work, the pain, the grief, the loss. There is incredible beauty in the darkness. And finding that beauty will be one of your keys to move forward. So again, wherever you're at, the more you love it and are okay with it, the easier it is to move forward. I found this with dating. Long story short, I got married for the first time in my early 30s, and I thought, woo, thank God. Now I'm married, I don't ever have to worry about dating or flirting or all that, right? Long story short, my first marriage didn't work out. We got divorced. Then in my late 30s, I was back on the market, dating again, right? But by then, I had started my spiritual journey. I had had the first miracle healing in my elbow. I had become a professional healer, all this stuff. And I knew that getting married wasn't about getting away from dating. So I did my best to embrace being single, to love going out to the mall or the car wash or a bar, to talk to new people, to have dates with strangers, to go to meetups and things. And it was tough at first because it ran against my grain. And it took me about 3 years, a lot of money, a lot of work, a lot of time. But I did get to the place where I was really enjoying being single. And I remember I said to myself, hey, self, this is actually kind of fun, right? Going down to the promenade on a Saturday, meeting some women, getting some dates. Most of them will flake, but that's part of the game, right? And I was like, wow, for the first time in my life, I don't feel like I'm in a hurry to get into a relationship. And boom, that's when it happened. That's when I found the right person. We fell in love, started a family, and that's been history since. So that principle applies to everything. So let me give you some very specific things. A lot of these will be free that you may find inspiration. So the first place, spiritual books, duh, right? I'm just going to give 2 of my favorites right here. There's so many more. One of my favorites you've heard me talk about, I love Michael Singer's work. His favorite books of mine would be The Surrender Experiment and Living Untethered, but that's just Brent's opinion, right? So we'll put a link below. Check it out. I've gotten a lot of value out of his work. Another one of my favorites, Neale Donald Walsh. He wrote the Conversations with God series. check it out. A little easier for people earlier on their path. I think Michael Singer's work is a little more advanced, but again, one's not better, they're just different. Links below, check it out. And of course, there's a million spiritual authors out there. Find the one that resonates with you. These are just a couple. Another thing I have found incredibly useful on my journey into higher consciousness is music. And I get it, you may not be a music person, and if so, skip this, right? But I have found music nourishes the soul. Music speaks directly to that most innermost core of your being. And I have found incredible enlightenment and inspiration in a lot of song lyrics. And of course, we all have different tastes. Some of my favorite spiritual music: Dream Theater, Fate's Warning, Nightwish, Epica, Sabaton, Therion. I could go on and on. Serenia. There's so many bands. I'll put some band names below in the description, whatever your taste in music may be. And just so we're clear, spiritual music doesn't have to be church music or like a new age. It can be. But you can find spiritual death metal. You can find spiritual opera. So if you're a music person, let music be one of your guides that brings you to higher consciousness. Another one is nature. Duh, right? For many people, the shortest access point to higher consciousness is through nature. So if you're a nature person, get out in nature. Walk barefoot on the grass or on the beach, right? Go out for a hike. Go swim in the ocean. Find ways to go and reconnect with nature in whatever way works for you. Another one is, ironically, religion. I have found that every religious, shamanic, spiritual tradition from every culture all across the world throughout history has common threads, common elements. So I think you can find higher consciousness within any religion. Just some may be easier than others. Brent's personal opinion, and this is just one man's experience, I found it easier to access the spiritual content in the Eastern religions, Buddhism, Hinduism, Zen, Taoism in particular, but it's also in the Western traditions. You can find it in the Bible. You can find it in the Quran. You can find it in the Kabbalah. So for some people, if you're interested in that, you can find it in religion, but just like music and nature, skip it if that's not your thing. A few of the more powerful practices I've found in terms of techniques and things you can do. I love the Buddhist chanting, in particular what's called Nichiren Buddhism, where you chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, ideally in front of the altar. And I'm not here to promote any particular religion or group or whatnot. I'm just saying that I've tried a lot of this stuff, and the Nichiren Buddhist chanting is really powerful. A lot of people love it. Tina Turner was huge into it. So check it out if that's your thing. I would also encourage you, check out the movement feedback holography, the consciousness shifting. These are things I learned from my late mentor, Carl. I've got a whole bunch of videos right here on this YouTube channel about these things. Check it out, see if it resonates for you. Now, before we get to my last recommendation, this is the end of the series. So if you like this, if you want to see more like this, and especially if you think these videos could be of some help to other people, make sure you hit like and subscribe. And while you're down there, if you have any questions for me, please put them into the comments. It is my goal to answer every comment on every one of my videos personally. And so I might not get to immediately, right? I can't spend all day keeping my eyes on the comments, but I will answer it. So if you have any questions not answered, you can put them into the comments or come join me at one of my HEALATHON live webinars or other events that I do. Awesome. So the last thing I will recommend, and of course, I'm tooting my own horn here, is the Awakening Dynamic System. That's my stuff, which has been pulled together. I've had a lot of amazing teachers. I've read thousands of books. I've attended hundreds of intensives and weekend seminars, and I have created Awakening Dynamics to be a set of tools and teachings and a community to make it much easier for you to move ahead in your journey. So if you want to learn more about it, there's some cool links in the description. But whatever it is, don't give up. Keep out there, watching videos, reading books, meeting people, until you find that teacher that you resonate with. Because whoever it is, I think at some point you need to have a guide, a mentor, a teacher. The poet Rumi famously said, "Without a guide, a journey of 3 weeks will take 100 years. And the journey into higher consciousness is no different. The point of a guru, a teacher, a guide is to give you that reference point so you can do it on your own without them. And if you like my style and my content, I would love to be your guide on this journey into higher consciousness. Thank you for watching this series. I hope this really helps you. I hope this gives you the knowledge, the tools, the resources to really move ahead powerfully and courageously on your spiritual path. And at least until I see you next time, please take care and namaste.